So what we're going to do now is just give you 5 strategies based on the R framework, as we like to call it, and then you can actually take them forward and use them straight away. So the first one we're going to talk about then is how do you actually attract new users. And I mean, I could talk forever on this alone, but these are some of the strategies and just some examples that we use across the board. So just to give you an idea, as well as the usual kind of strategic partnerships, SEO, blogging, some of these obviously are kind of very, very straightforward. And then it's a case of how do you almost use this kind of lean startup methodology and apply it to each one of these examples. So for example, let's look at a PR as a quite a simple, straightforward one. If you're trying to attract people, you might be looking at TechCrunch, Fast Company, Inc., Wired, many of the others. And you'd be reaching out to journalists, you'd be reaching out to the editors like Mike Butcher at TechCrunch, and you'll be trying to get them involved. And if you get lucky, or if you develop the relationship well enough, then you will actually be asked to speak with them, or they'll speak with you, and they might even run a feature. Now, even something as simple as getting your startup or your tech company featured by one of these big one of these big online media publications is almost a hack within itself. So it's very much a case of looking at how does the industry work. Once you understand that, I would definitely recommend that you can then start to manipulate it and start to drive things forward. One of the books I would recommend for this would be something like Ryan Holiday's Trust Me Online, which is an outstanding book on how the media industry works, what's happening within it, and how you can essentially manipulate and hack it. Just give you a quick example of something else. On a similar line to that, let's talk about the target market blogs. And although you can be doing your own blogs, which I think is very, very powerful and also almost a must within any startup, if you can target other blogs that are in your market and offer to work with them. So one of the things that we constantly talk about is how to leverage other people's audiences and lists and to start to bring them on board for yourself. It's quite easy to do, and if you give them something that is reciprocal, where they think, oh wow, I can't believe this company just did this to help me, then you'll actually be a trusted friend of them, and they will start to promote you more and more and more. And these things are just through very much relationships. So you have to reach out, you have to be reaching out to them in a way that they want to feature you, for example, and that there's something in it for them. A lot of people just think, oh, why wouldn't they want to write about what we're doing? We're awesome. That may be true, but always remember that whatever you reach out to them with has to help them, has to serve them, and has to directly give them something that they want. So just thinking on, one of the ones that I've used before and you may be familiar with is the acquisition side of how Hotmail got started. And I love this as it's really cute, really sweet way of actually growing it. And originally when the founders of Hotmail, they developed it because essentially they didn't want their bosses reading their work email, so they developed Hotmail, which I love. And they asked for $300,000 to go and do billboards and radio advertising and actually try and get it out there. But of course, the executives said, no way, you're off your mind, we're not giving you any money. So it forced them to be creative, and by doing that, they then came up with this little tagline that then featured at the bottom: P.S. I love you, get your free email at Hotmail. And this worked on a very, very fundamental emotional level with everyone who received it. So whether they were getting these emails, and it was a little bit of a surprise, it was unexpected, they didn't realize what was going on. And because the main thing to this is that this had never been done before, and because it was so new and was such a surprise and was breaking the mold, if you like, it took people by surprise, and it worked. And the growth rate from this was exponential. It just accelerated at a rate you wouldn't believe. Now the problem is with this is that the strategy works, but just going out and copying the exact same tagline at the bottom will not get you the same results. And the reason is that once something has been done once, it's very unlikely for it to have the same level of effect and success a second, a third. And of course, if you think about how far back Hotmail started, if you were to try and run the exact same thing again now, it just wouldn't work. And that's because the whole environment has changed. So have a think about different and creative ways that you could use, I don't know, email, for example, in a way that's interesting and new and exciting and hit some of those key touch points.